What's up, you guys? Psycho Psy. I've been playing Frostgrave. I really like this game, and I'm playing. I did something. This might take a little bit of explanation, but this Frostgrave Kingdoms of Everterra, Rise of the Reptids, is a module, kind of, I guess, that I've written. I'm not done writing it yet. I have more that I need to do in regards of editing the system and testing the system. But what I basically did was I created species or races, I don't know what's politically correct to say, and gave them all traits like you would in Dungeons and Dragons, like what you would see there, kind of converting them so that they could be plugged into the soldier types. And then I built level up trees, sort of, or level up rules and scales for each of the soldier types. That's what I'm actually still working on, because I want them to have better abilities and stuff like that. But it has been working out pretty well. And I did write a little bit of a campaign for it. It's there's a lot going on with it. Once it's ready, I will have it available digitally. But I'm explaining that to explain how I made these. These are for this Frostgrave plugged-in system. I'll show digital representations of them that will be, a way to get a better look at them. But with that and the wizard sheet being converted to something like this. But basically, to create the system, to RPGify Frostgrave, if that makes sense. But I've been playing through I played through what I wrote already, and that got me up to about level 6 with this party, and now at level 6, having just crossed into level 7, we just did Writhing Fumes, I believe it was, on the Perilous Dark supplement of Frostgrave 2nd edition. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and now I have the party. We are now in Isher's shop, as we've made it into the shop. And if you look at the description of what's in the shop, it's described to have rubble all around and weapons, like old broken weapons scattered about, of which I do not have. So I went through this long-winded explanation to tell you about this and let you guys know when that's gonna be finished, and hopefully if you guys want to take a look at it, that would be cool if you guys want to mess around with it. And also to tell you that that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to make some rubble, scatter terrain, and broken weapons. So this should be fun. I'll see you guys there. Here, you see me looking for my glue gun, but I got it. Hot glue gun. I got some popsicle sticks and wood, and then I got myself toothpicks and just a bunch of foam core that I just kind of broke up into pieces.
Of course!
I'm turning the sound back on only so you could hear the satisfying sounds of the breaking up the foam. But I'm just breaking up the foam to have rubble pieces, basically, because these are gonna be scatter terrain tiles or more of those satisfying.
Yeah, that might be really satisfying.
As you can see, my daughter agrees. At this point, I wanted to start making small weapons because Isher's shop is supposed to be littered with a large manner of small weapons that are all broken up and destroyed from having been there for who knows how many years within Felstead. So I figured that a way to do it would be to build them, myself, and then put them into the rubble piles. Here I'm making a small hammer. Let me turn off my notifications. But I'm making a small hammer at the moment that is to be used. After that, I decided that I wanted to make a sword. And in order to do that, I decided I took a foam brick and I cut it in half. And after cutting that foam brick in half, I then took a toothpick and I stabbed it through. I wanted to make sure that the foam is basically going to be the crossbar. So if the foam is the crossbar, think about how, you know, in scale, long a great sword or another sword would be, and cut to that length, which is what I tried to do here. I was, it's probably bigger than what scale would probably be proper, but a little sword. I wanted a pommel at this point, so I took a little glue at the end and I put that right into another piece of foam, and it was like a little broken, the piece of foam, but it was nice because it still sold, in my opinion, a little pommel. And add that to our little pile of weapons. At this point, it's just a matter of repeating the process, just kind of making more weapons. I did another sword here, and I took some twine, and I wrapped the twine around the hilt in order to have a different kind of texture for this one. In order to do it, I thinned out the twine by, you know, separating the strings from each other, and then I smothered it in glue. Just white glue, just regular, you know, orange glue. And after wrapping it around, I was able to get what I wanted. I did that same technique and made a whip by taking a matchstick and gluing that at the end. It's a little blurry there, but it's a whip that we just had there. I had to cut the handle a little down because it was too big. Then I decided to start just breaking up some wood to have broken pieces of wood that I would also be adding. At this point, I decided I wanted to try and make an arrow, but this bow and arrow that I make here is really not to scale. It didn't matter though. It's just to sell it on the board, you know, as a piece of junk. So, you know, to be put into rubble piles. And that is what I'm doing here. I'm trying to like cut the, I guess the feathers or whatever, I don't know what they are called, that would be at the end of the arrow. And then using a piece of cardstock, I cut out what would be the shape of the bow. I should have probably used a more clean cutting surface. I will be doing that in the future. Here, I then take that same twine thing, that same technique, and I just wrapped it around the end of one of the pieces of the cardstock that I just cut. That was to represent a broken bow. Then I decided to cut the end of a popsicle stick to see if I could use those pieces as a makeshift broken shield. And all that's left now is to cut our bases. So that's what you see me doing here. I'm taking just a cereal box and using cardstock, you know, the cardstock from the cereal box, as my base. And I just smother it in white glue, put a bunch of sand on it. After I place the sand on it, I put more glue on it and start gluing in my foam chunks. These foam chunks go all over the piece to create a rubble pile. A little bit more glue and a couple of weapons that we just made, and we're gonna put a little bit more sand on top of that, and there you have it. Alright, so I'm gonna let you guys have a look at them before they're painted up. But this is what we're working with. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 scatter terrain pieces that have rubble. They're rubble, and some of them are with broken weapons, like that one with a shield and a sword. That one's a broken bow with an arrow. That one's just a bunch of wood. Some of these So yeah, some of them are just junk just to sell the idea of the broken shop. But that's what this is about. And once they're painted up, they should look pretty good, I think. So I'm excited. I have to wait for these to dry now, and once they're dry, we can get to work on the paint. I'll see y'all. Okay, a while back, I made these a long while ago now. Crap, my battery's almost out. Oh man. Well, I'll document as much of this as I can. I made these a while ago, and I don't like them anymore. So I'm gonna turn them into something I like. What I did here was glue them together using the hot glue, and these were made of foam board and cardboard, and I had just textured the foam board using a pen. That's why I didn't like these. So I cut the cardboard away, and then I took Mod Podge and I smothered the piece in Mod Podge, and I covered it in tissue paper. I like this technique for texturing the ruined walls because of the look that it produces. I got it from watching Surlax videos on YouTube, but I also had used it for different terrain pieces before this technique, and I like the way it looks. Now at this point, you see the other painted pieces of Rubble already, and I show you my painting process. I started off with after black Mod Podge over the entire thing had dried, I brought in just a gray and covered up all of the stone bits that are made of foam. I then went with a brown and painted along, I'm sorry about the train in the back, all of the wood pieces in order to create, a cohesion with the dirt in the back, because the dirt is also colored with that same brown, a little bit lighter though later on. I also used a little bit of silver on the metal parts of where the broken weapon is, and then I decided to dry or overbrush the entire piece with white in order to make it pop, as you can see. Then I take my homemade black wash and grind it up to bring it back down. For the ruined wall that we covered in tissue, after it's all dried with the Mod Podge and tissue layers, I cover the entire piece in gray, not in black. I didn't prime in black because I wanted to keep some of the white that shows up from the tissue, only because it's a piece in Frostgrave, and I figured that would actually work out for like ice or whatever. So I cover the entire piece in gray to begin. After covering the entire piece in gray, I went in with a heavy overbrush of white, and that heavy overbrush was to help bring out all of the wrinkles and details that was created from the tissue being stippled all over when it was being covered. Then with the black wash, I mute it down again. These are pictures that show off how it looked at that point, but they weren't dry yet. So these are not our glamour shots as of yet, but they're coming up. And thank you for watching. This was a fun build, and I can't wait to show you more.